What if I told you that deep down, you're more afraid of success than of failure? It sounds strange, doesn't it? We're told all our lives that failure is the thing to avoid, the monster under the bed. But the truth is, for many of us, it's not failure that keeps us stuck. It's the silent fear of what happens if we actually succeed. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself right before something good was about to happen? Maybe you didn't apply for the job you wanted. Maybe you ended a relationship that was going well. Or maybe you started a project, got halfway there, and then just stopped. You probably called it procrastination or laziness or maybe even bad luck. But what if it wasn't any of those things? What if it was fear of success quietly pulling the brakes? Picture this. You've been invited to speak at an event. Your heart races with excitement at first. This is the chance you've been waiting for. But then, out of nowhere, a voice inside whispers, "What if you mess it up? What if everyone expects more from you after this? What if you can't keep up?" Suddenly, you're not excited anymore, you're terrified. You might even back out of the opportunity. That's self-sabotage, born not from the fear of failure, but from the fear of success. So why does this happen? Why would anyone fear something as positive as success? Let's break it down into 4 deep truths. First, success changes your identity. Success forces you to see yourself differently. If you've always seen yourself as the underdog, the struggler, or the one who just can't catch a break, then achieving something great destroys that identity. You're no longer who you thought you were. That shift can be so uncomfortable that your mind resists it, even if it means sabotaging the very thing you've worked for. Imagine someone who grew up poor and finally starts making good money. Instead of celebrating, they might feel guilty, like they're betraying their roots. The mind clings to the old version of self because change, even positive change, feels dangerous. Second, success raises expectations. Failure is safe in its own way. If you fail, no one expects much of you. You can hide in the shadows. But the moment you succeed, the spotlight turns on. People look at you differently. They expect you to perform again, maybe even better than before. And that pressure can feel suffocating. Think of an author whose first book becomes a bestseller. Instead of enjoying the success, they might freeze, terrified that their second book will never live up to the first. Success, in this way, can feel like a prison built from other people's expectations. Third, success threatens relationships. This one is subtle but powerful. When you rise, not everyone around you will rise with you. Friends may feel jealous. Family might misunderstand you. Some may even pull away. And for many people, that's scarier than failing. Because at least with failure, you stay relatable, you stay one of them. Success, on the other hand, separates you. It makes you different. And human beings are wired to crave belonging. The thought of losing connection, even in exchange for growth, is terrifying. So, without realizing it, we sabotage our own progress to keep the peace. Fourth, success exposes your deepest insecurities. Success leaves you with nowhere to hide. Failure can always be explained away. You didn't try hard enough, the timing wasn't right, the market wasn't fair. But when you succeed, there's nothing left to blame. Suddenly, you're forced to face the truth. That you are capable, that you are powerful, and that terrifies many people more than failure ever could. Because if you really are capable, then you have no excuse for living small. That's a heavy truth to carry. But here's the paradox. Most of us think we're chasing success, when in reality we're running from it. We avoid opportunities. We procrastinate on projects. We downplay our abilities. All because, deep down, success feels like stepping into unknown territory where the risks feel greater than the rewards. Failure is familiar, success is not. Now let's pause and ask, how does this play out in everyday life? Imagine a student who's doing well in school. They start getting praised by teachers and suddenly they stop trying as hard. They turn in assignments late or forget to study for tests. To outsiders, it looks like laziness. But inside, it's fear of success. Because if they keep excelling, more will be expected of them. and that pressure feels unbearable. Or think about someone trying to get fit. They lose a few pounds, start to feel good, and then suddenly binge on junk food. Not because they don't know better, but because deep down they're afraid of the new version of themselves. The one who's disciplined, confident, and no longer has the same excuses. That's self-sabotage in action. So what can we do about it? How do we overcome the fear of success? First, we have to recognize it. Awareness is powerful. The next time you notice yourself procrastinating or backing out of an opportunity, pause and ask, am I afraid of failing? Or am I actually afraid of what happens if this goes right? Simply naming the fear takes away half its power. Second, we need to redefine success. Instead of seeing it as a final destination where everyone's watching and judging, think of it as a series of small steps. Success isn't one giant leap, it's a staircase. You don't need to be ready for the top right now, you just need to be ready for the next step. This shift in perspective makes success less intimidating and more manageable. Third, we need to accept that not everyone will come with us. And that's okay. Growth naturally creates distance. Some relationships will survive, others won't. But shrinking yourself to make others comfortable is too high a price to pay. True friends, real connections, they don't vanish when you succeed. If they do, they weren't as solid as you thought. And finally, we need to embrace the responsibility that comes with success. Yes, it means more will be expected of you. But that's not a burden. It's a sign that you're capable of more than you once believed. The pressure you feel is proof that you've outgrown the old version of yourself. Lean into it. Here's the twist. Most people fear success because they mistake it for an ending. But success is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. Failure closes doors. Success opens them. And sometimes, stepping through an open door is scarier than staying in a locked room. But it's also where the life you've always wanted is waiting. So let me ask you, are you holding yourself back because you're afraid to fail? Or because you're afraid to succeed? Take a moment to reflect on that. Think about the times you stopped short, the chances you didn't take, the projects you abandoned halfway. Were you really avoiding failure? Or were you protecting yourself from the responsibility of growth? Because here's the truth. You are far more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And sometimes, the scariest thing in the world is admitting that to yourself. If you found this eye-opening, imagine what happens when you start facing your fears head-on. In the next video, we'll dive into the hidden psychology of why our brains prefer comfort over change, and how to break free from it. If you found this calming but thought-provoking, subscribe for more stories that reveal the secret patterns of the mind. Until then, remember this: the fear of success is just fear of your own potential. And that's the one fear worth overcoming.